On tonight's show, we're going to be talking about shark fishing. We're talking about the black tip shootout. Joining us will be Captain Joel Brandenburg, Tampa's own Baseball Hall of Famer Wade Boggs, and we're talking shark fishing. We'll be answering your emails, looking at the trophy case, and I've got a good Captain's Corner for you. Stay tuned. Hooked on Fishing starts right now.
Captain Phil Miller, third-generation Floridian and Grand Master Angler. He is hooked on fishing.
Oh, my! We got to go after this and we're going to get him. We may need some help with that one, buddy. Coming in the boat. Oh, I can see that coming.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Hooked on Fishing. As I mentioned in the opening, we're talking about shark fishing, and joining us tonight is Baseball Hall of Famer Wade Boggs and Captain Joel Brandenburg. And Joel, you took out Wade and I the other day. We had a good trip, and there are sharks in Tampa Bay.
Absolutely, absolutely. Tampa Bay is one of the shark capitals of the world. We have as we discussed, the biggest variety of sharks in the world, and also the biggest population per square mile.
Mm-hmm. And Wade, a lot of people, when they think about sharks, they're either scared of them or they think they're not glamorous to catch as a sport fish. But you and I both found out they got some strength to them.
They can put some thump on you in a hurry. If you don't have the tackle and go out there and have a rod with a backbone, your backbone's going to be a little bit sore that afternoon.
It is. Wade, as you'll see later on in the show, Wade and I both got into some big sharks on medium to heavy spinning gear, and it gave us all we wanted. Joel, the size of the sharks in Tampa Bay was surprising me. I knew that we had some nice sharks in the bay, but we were consistently catching 6-foot sharks right along, and we didn't fish that long.
Yeah, during our 2010 6th annual Phil Pegley Black Tip Shark Shootout to raise money for pediatric cancer last year, we had about 30 teams, about 150 anglers, and each boat averaged 25 sharks per boat during the 24-hour tournament.
Now this tournament, we'll get into it. It's tell us when it is. Just said it's the Phil Pegley Black Tip Shark Shootout.
Yeah. We call it the 6th annual. It's really the 9th annual, but we've had it organized for 6 years, and it's going to be this Father's Day weekend. The captain's meeting is on the 16th, Thursday at 6:30, and then we have the start at Friday the 17th at 6 o'clock, and then the weigh-in is 6 o'clock on Saturday. And when I say weigh-in, it's a photo weigh-in. It's an all-release tournament.
And it's hosted by Wade Boggs, and all the proceeds go to the Pediatric Cancer Foundation, Wade, which I know you're very familiar with.
Well, it's very dear to my heart. I host the Grand Slam Mercury tournament every October, and we've been partners with that for a long time.
Yes, we have.
And actually, I met Captain Joel at the Grand Slam tournament, and he asked me if I would be willing to lend my name to the Shark Shootout, and I said absolutely, for the benefit of pediatric cancer. That's a no-brainer.
Yep.
And just a coincidence that it was in October, and here it is rolling around, coming in June. It got here really fast, didn't it, Captain Joel?
Absolutely. Bill put us on the map a couple years ago when we shot a show on the Black Tip Shark Shootout, and you've really brought us to the next level, Wade, and I appreciate everything you've done.
My pleasure, absolutely.
It's very interesting to me that sharks are thought of as villains, and they're not villains. And in fact, there's a lot of interest in the scientific world as far as tagging and DNA studies and things like that we're going to talk about later on in the show. This isn't just go out and catch some sharks. We're doing some good for young kids with pediatric cancer, and we're also doing some scientific studies on the whole shark population, and you can get involved in that by joining us on Father's Day weekend. When we come back, we're going shark fishing, but first, here's some Hooked on Fishing trivia. Welcome back to Hooked on Fishing. Joining me tonight is Captain Joel Brandenburg and Wade Boggs. We're talking about the blacktip shark shootout coming up Father's Day weekend, hosted by Wade and organized and run by Joel to benefit the Pediatric Cancer Foundation. Joel, how did this come about?
Well, Apollo Beach resident and local angler and now Captain Phil Pegley of Fish Tamer Charters in Apollo Beach, he and some neighborhood fellas were comparing sharks back and forth all summer long, and they decided to hold a little neighborhood tournament. And here we are almost a decade later. Last year we had 150 anglers, 500 spectators, a bunch of vendors and a bunch of donations, and great sponsors this year like Walmart and Stingray Chevrolet and Ace Hardware, and it's going to be held at the Docks Bar and Grill in Apollo Beach.
Okay, we're going to be talking more about that, and you can get involved if you'd like. We had the number up on the screen earlier. It will be back there for you later on tonight. Write it down and get involved with this shark tournament to benefit pediatric cancer. Let's go out in Tampa Bay with Wade Boggs and Joel Brandenburg. We're going shark fishing. Joel, how are we going to get started this morning chasing the blacktip shark?
We're going to be freelining some finger mullet too, and some bigger mullet about a foot long.
How about chum? We're going to be doing any chumming?
Yeah, we're going to chum. We're going to have a bag of chum over the side of the boat, and I get my chum every morning at Little Harbor Resort in Ruskin. And then we have some greenbacks and some thread fins that we're going to cut up in 2s and 3 pieces and chum those out the back. A lot of the game fish that we've been catching lately out here in the bay, when you do go to clean them and you check their belly, a lot of times there's pieces of your chum right in there, so they're reacting to the chum real well.
Years of experience have taught me you want to hook live baits like this inside the boat instead of hanging it over the side. More times than not, that ladyfish will jump off and end up swimming through.
You don't want to set the hook with this braided line. When you case it, just lift your rod up slowly and reel fairly quick. He's still got it. He's going parallel with this. Just pick up any slack you can. Remember, you got the tower above you on there. Lift the rod.
Got to be on there. Shit, that line. I mean, shoot. That line.
Real.
That line going to the front.
And let's get that other rod in.
Hoop up. Another barrel hoop up. Don't wait for me to quit.
Well, that's good. Didn't take too long. I'm thinking we were going to just drift downwind with him, but he's swimming a little faster than we're drifting here.
Somebody.
Oops. Well, you did a good job, Wade. We did see him. We know for sure it was a blacktip shark. Probably a world record, if not, certainly a state record, and probably a world record. So I'd say we go back to our anchorage and try it again. I'm gonna hook him right to the center, or in the mouth. Come out right from that. Just like that. You should have it now. There you go, Wade. No way, Wade. No way he got off. Well, we had a monofilament leader with a long shanked hook, and he bit through the leader. We saw that one too. That was a 3-footer. Nice one to get warmed up on. All right, we'll catch the next one. And we're back with Wade Boggs and Captain Joel Brandenburg talking about the blacktip shark shootout. And we've had a lot of sharks on a couple weeks ago right here on Hooked on Fishing. We had a good shark show. The reason we're doing that is because that's what's happening. Sharks are in the area. They're a great game fish. They're easy to catch. It doesn't take a whole lot of skill. You just need something bloody out there, and there's some sharks, enough sharks in Tampa Bay, they will find it. Of course, more skill and more technique will mean more sharks. Stay tuned to Hooked on Fishing. We're going to show you how to catch some of those things. Joel, tell me about the scientific aspect of the tournament. We're having Moat Marine is involved, and
We're working with Dr. Huter at Moat Marine, and he's taught us how to tag sharks. And Phil Pegley actually invented a tag that they think is even better than the tag that they've been using. And we're just documenting the numbers on all sharks over 4 foot, no matter what species, and we're remembering the 3 S's: sex, species, and size. So we record that, and then when those sharks are found, then they can locate where they were and where they are. And they can do a lot of testing with breeding and spawning and giving live birth pups right here in Tampa Bay.
okay. We'll be right back with more Hooked on Fishing and more shark fishing with Joel and Wade right after this.
Now, Captain Joel, not doing a lot of shark fishing. I've done a lot of inshore fishing around the bridge, tarpon and everything, and redfish. And the first thing you do when you pick up a newspaper is you look at the tide.
Right.
Well, what about blacktip shark? Do they really concern themselves about tide?
A little bit. I like to fish them more on a moving tide, whether it be incoming or outgoing, just so they have a chance to pick up the chum scent. On a slack tide, they don't have the tendency as much to come to the boat to pick up the chum slick. But I will say that unlike a lot of game fish, they're not as interested in the tide. They feed 24/7, 365 days a year.
You just got to fill that gullet.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we're back. We're talking shark fishing. You may remember 3 or 4 weeks ago I showed you in the St. Pete Times, our partner, the St. Pete Times, on May the 16th, the Terry Tomlin's article there back, and it's talking all about sharks, bull sharks specifically, but all types of sharks. You can go to tampabay.com and find out some more information. You can find out this online. Some good stuff in there about sharks and how Tampa Bay is a breeding ground for sharks. Wade, in your travels in Major League Baseball, did you find a city or place that there's good fishing on all your travels?
Oh, absolutely. Being an outdoor guy, all the pitchers like to play golf, but a couple position players and myself would find, being in Boston, we go out striper fishing before a game, or in Kansas City, find an old farm pond and get out there with a John boat. And Lake Michigan, we'd charter a boat on Lake Michigan and catch big giant lake trout and salmon, and even out in San Francisco, we would go out through the Golden Gate and catch salmon out there. So any place you could find a charter and wet a line, we were all for it.
And in addition to your baseball travels and your fishing, you travel all over the world fishing, doing some pretty neat things.
Well, I really have. Probably the latest thing that I've done was fishing in Brazil for peacock